Oh, baby. Light work against these Atlanta Hawks. You already know what it is, Jeff. So let's get into this. The New York Knicks enter this matchup after a sad loss against the Cleveland Cavaliers, but they're going to bounce back. Was Jalen Brunson going to play tonight? Was Mitchell Robinson going to play tonight? Neither one of those guys played. Neither did Deuce McBride, but we did see Cam Payne return. So you already know what it is with these guys. They're going to be playing tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns. And who called him? None other than CP the franchise. Put some respect on his name, Chris Haynes. All right? But the Knicks enter this matchup. We're going to defeat the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young returns. And in the first quarter, this matchup looked like it was about to be neck and neck. You know what I mean? So it was close. Started off pretty close, but the Knicks decided to blow these guys away. Pause. And said, guess what? You're not in our league. You're not in our stratosphere. Get up out of here in the A. And the Knicks would just cruise to an easy victory all the way through. Only question is, Tom, why don't you put the bench in, man? We just we got another game tomorrow. But the Knicks would end up winning this one anyway. So guess what? We want to hear your thoughts and opinions on this matchup. Make sure to call in through the Discord tonight. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. KFTV Post Game Live is here. So like I said, I want to hear your takes tonight. Download the app if you haven't done so. Go to the website, whatever fits your fancy. We want to hear what you guys got to say. And with me on the other side is none other than my guy, Jeffrey Campbell, a.k.a. Jeff Boyardee on X. We're here to break this down, man. Jeff, how fitting you're here to, on the Atlanta Hawks game. I know you repented for, your treasons, your transgressions, I should say, but how fitting you return when we get to wax the living daylights out of the Atlanta Hawks. And look, man, just a strong outing by the entire team. I mean, Josh Hart almost with another triple-double. You got Karl Anthony Towns dropping 30. You have OG Anunoby dropping 24 points. You got an efficient game by Mikal Bridges, 9 of 13 from the field, gets you a cool 20. And this was just easy sailing for the New York Knicks, man. What are your thoughts on this game?
Honestly, Alex, you said it in the opening monologue, just two teams in two different leagues. It honestly kind of makes you wonder, how did we lose two games against these guys earlier in the season? With the Knicks, you had a team that is ready for the urgency of the moment, getting ready for the playoffs, fine-tuning things, like Landry Shamet said, just absolutely blowing and dominating these guys out of the water. And you had the Hawks, who honestly played with no heart, no guts. Some of probably the most passive perimeter defense that I've seen in a long time. Trae Young was abysmal. On the Knicks side, you had guys stepping up. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, in the absence of Jalen Brunson. They looked great, and they looked like they played the part. But this was just two different teams headed in two very different directions, and the Hawks almost seemed just resigned to the fact that they're going to be in the play-in, and it seemed like their play indicated as such. And on the other hand, the Knicks held their end of the bargain, and they dominated a lesser opponent.
Yeah, man. I got to give you the pause for saying, blowing these guys. So,
Oh,
hey, yo, pause. All right, so we got to throw the flag on that one. But, hey, this team, solid job tonight. And let's start off with Karl Anthony. Well, actually, you know what? Let's reverse that. Let's go with OG Anunoby because this man's just continuing to show his dominance right now, man. Another step in his progression offensively. We already know what he is defensively. This man can lock down positions 1 through 4 easily. And then, depending on the matchup, he could defend 5s. But in today's matchup, 9 of 17 from the field. He gets you 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks today. OG is getting primed for the postseason. And look, as of right now, if you're to ask me who looks like the second option on this team, yeah, it's Karl Anthony Towns. But right now, it looks like OG with the way that he's playing. And it's nothing fancy, man, outside of, that turnaround jumper that he's got, that he's added to his arsenal. But even when you watch how he attacks the basket, just driving with confidence, finishing through tight windows, OG looks ready, man. And you're going to need this type of performance when you think about competing with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Boston Celtics. Obviously, you can't overlook anybody in the first round either. And right now, it looks like it's going to be the Milwaukee Bucks. But this guy, it looks ready for the postseason, man. I'm just happy that this guy who started the season hot, then went into a lull, got injured, had some time off because of the injury, took the All-Star break as well, came back and is now, slowly revved up for the postseason. He's hitting his stride. And look, These are the type of these are the type of performances you need from guys who, he's a high-end role player. This is the type of performances that can like swing a series. And so with OG performing at this level, you got to love everything that you're seeing. Uh,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the other thing is this, I don't care what happens when Jalen Brunson comes back. You've got to run this curl play. They ran this curl play a couple of times tonight. OG had a beautiful behind the back pass. I think it was to Cat. He also split two defenders with a nice bounce pass. You're seeing him flesh out the other parts of his game in Brunson's absence, which in this case is playmaking. But MSG, they ran a stat on the telecast tonight. Last 8 games, over 50% from the field, 40% from three. I think it was 24 or 27 points a game, 90 from the line. This is a guy that said to Alan Hahn post All-Star break, what's changed? I'm getting my touches. And some people, kind of took that one of two different ways. Obviously, before he got traded from Toronto, there was rumors that he wanted a bigger role. And he's showing everybody now that he has the capability to feast and do well in that role. So it's going to be really interesting, Alex. I wonder what your take is on this too. Like, obviously, Jalen Brunson is the best player in the team. However far we're going to go in the playoffs is based on him. But how much does he have to augment his game for some of the guys that have stepped up in his absence? I wonder. I feel like there's got to be a little bit of augmentation. Not a ton, but you can't have OG just standing in the corner when Jalen Brunson comes back.
Not at all. And you talk about augmenting, like how does Jalen Brunson work his way back into this, offense? And when I look at Brunson, he's a guy that could just get going at any moment. So I don't think he has to really change, that much just to stay in rhythm. Now, I would say the only difference is since he's going to return tomorrow against the Suns, we got a few games left. He's probably going to need to take, go back to that high usage just to get a little bit in rhythm. But for the postseason, I would hope that he could just dial it back a little, just because what you're getting from OG, you can't lose that momentum. As you know, and as anybody who watches basketball, like guys who are in rhythm, the slightest like adjustment, like just touches wise, can throw them out of rhythm. And so for a guy who's getting a lot of touches because there's no Jalen Brunson and they have to rely on somebody outside of, Karl Anthony Towns who could put up, high efficient numbers, he's given that leeway, like, all right, man, there's nobody else out here. Like, we got to like rely on you, Bridges, Hart, like all it's, everyone's got to do their part. And so when I look at this matchup, or when I'm digesting your question, I should say, is that, you know, it's just making sure that he gets free reign, and it shouldn't be that hard. Just because, like I said, Brunson is capable of just getting going at any moment. But it'll be interesting, man, especially with the last few games. I think he's more than capable of doing this in the postseason. But it's all about balance, right? Because you don't necessarily want him to just control too much of the offense either, and then throw other guys out of it. And so there's a lot of mouths to feed. The good thing is that OG's game is very simplistic, to where most of his points come from cutting, getting dunks, knocking down threes. We see the side step, the step back from him occasionally, and that is the majority of how he gets his points. But if you want to make him like a battering ram, get him downhill, like we used to see RJ doing, that's just designing, as you mentioned earlier, curl plays for him and stuff of that nature, just so that he could stay in rhythm. But another guy that we got to talk about, man, we got to talk about Karl Anthony Towns with his efficient 30 and almost giving us a scare in the second quarter. He was walking with his hands, it looked like he got hit in the stomach, as Clyde was saying, and he had to walk to the locker room. Karl Anthony Towns with 30 points, 10 to 15 from the field, 8 and 9 from the free throw line, 2 or 3 from downtown, 11 boards, 3 assists. Cat, man. I know, look, we know how he is defensively. I know some are going to look back at that Cavs game. I'm a critic when it comes to his defense, but Cat having another solid night. We're going to need these type of performances, man. We're going to need these type of efficient performances in the postseason against every single team, because we see it even this game against the Atlanta Hawks, who are not a good team. Defensively, it's just an Olay every time down the middle. And so he just got to be like this, man. This is what he's paid to do. He's got to do it.
This is a tailor-made matchup, like you said, for Cat. I was saying at the top of the program, like the perimeter defense was just soft, just super porous. Nobody besides Dyson Daniels was applying pressure. But this is what I want to say about Cat, man. Yo, this guy is dramatic as hell, man. Like, I love Karl Anthony Towns. It's no shade, but this guy, when he hurt his finger, I thought this thing was broken. I would expect this thing to be like hanging off. He runs to the locker room, and I'm like, ah, damn, man, this is bad. Like, I'm just hoping in my mind, I'm hoping the damage is limited. Like, maybe he'll miss a game or two, but he kind of had this injury a little bit before. And he comes back in like less than 10 minutes and continues to dominate. So I love Cat, but the dude is super, super dramatic. I mean, we've all seen his foul calls, but it clearly extends to his injuries and the way he kind of performance arts them, on the court. But a great night from Cat for sure.
Foul and all that stuff, man. Oh my god, like all that stuff. Like we already know what Cat likes to do, man. We all know it's like, look, I get it. Sometimes you just gotta sell it a little bit so that way you can get the call. And look, to be fair, he gets hacked every single time he goes
Yeah,
barreling down the
doesn't
lane.
get a fair
Okay,
whistle.
and even when he's posting up, and look, for the most part, if you're a big man that can score easily, they're always going to give, a little leeway to the smaller defender just because you're big. There is, a disadvantage over there. So, even though he's looking for the call most of the time, I understand like what the refs are thinking. On top of that, you can't call everything because then someone's going to be fouling out. And look, this is a business. They need this to be somewhat entertaining, right? But I get it, man. He is dramatic. He's a dramatic player. But I'm going to say it's just for trying to get the foul. But the arguing has to, be limited because gotta get back on defense. Got to make sure that you're in position to help your team. We can't be giving up easy transition buckets. And look, against the Hawks team, keep it close in the first half. Even when they got on these little runs, it's because they're not, staying locked in defensively with the turnovers, even while they're on offense and trying to get something going. And this is just like something that you got to work out as a team and get ready for the postseason. Keep saying it. Got to be locked in. Got to pay attention to detail. Is what it is. Let's go to Mikal Bridges before we start taking some calls, man. Mikal Bridges tonight, 9 of 13 from the field, gets you 20 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. What do you think about Mikal Bridges, man? Because got a lot of heat last game against the Cavs. Dude only took 6 shots, right? Wasn't really initiating on offense. Tonight has a solid game. What are your thoughts about Mikal Bridges on tonight and just his overall performance this season? Because I got some thoughts.
It's all about mentality with him. This is what I loved about his game in particular tonight. So we've talked a lot already about the Hawks' lack of defense, but what I loved about Mikal is that his approach was spot on. If you look at the game plan, just drive, continue to drive. Nobody was getting in his way or Josh Hart's way, unabated to the rim, as Clyde likes to say. So just keep doing that, right? It doesn't mean that it's going to lead to a layup every time, but that's going to open up things and for corner threes. It's going to shift the defense. People have to rotate, and you swing the ball, and that's how the Knicks get open shots. So I thought, especially in the first quarter, Mikal did a great job of that. Um, Again, the MSG, the crew was really on point with their stats. They showed what the rest of the league was doing when defending Trae Young and when Mikal was on him. I mean, this was just a poor game from Trae anyway, but I thought he played pretty decent on them. I thought Tibbs did a really nice job of, after Trae hit a couple of shots in the first quarter, they shaded some doubles towards his way. They showed a couple hedges here and there. Cat actually played those particular possessions pretty well. He recovered all right as well. But I thought Mikal had a good game, and maybe this is what you're going to touch on, Alex. Honestly, a good game against this Hawks team doesn't move me. I need
Mm.
Mikal to be aggressive in his mindset against a team like the Cavs. OG is doing that. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. OG is getting downhill. He's putting his elbow in your chest and he's going straight to the rim because he has that confidence that no one can guard him right now. Even though he moves at a snail's pace, he's still really, really good at what he does and kind of like the bag that he has. I need that from Mikal. He is good at what he does. His fadeaway mid range is unguardable. There's no one who can touch it. So I just feel like, he's got to go into certain games with an understanding of, I have to get my shots for this team to do well. Don't look at it in a selfish way that you're taking away from somebody else. For the Knicks to be the best version of themselves, this is how Mikal Bridges has to play.
Absolutely. Look, I agree 100%. Like I said, it was a solid night for Bridges, but as you noted, it's against a Hawks team that, it's on life support. Honestly, if this East was anything like the West, where it's competitive, the Hawks probably wouldn't be in the playing category. But look, against the Hawks team, nice to see that he shows up. But it's against teams like the Cavs. It's against teams like the Celtics, where you need him to show up and show out. And I got added. Shout out to Devon Wink on Twitter, man. He said he was upset with my commentary, saying that with me coming to terms with who Mikal Bridges as a player on the last post game show against the Cavs. And my response is, like, everybody who's listened to me, I've been critical. I give Bridges his flowers when the time is right, but I also understand where the heat is coming from. We traded 5 first round picks for this guy. And with those 5 first round picks, there's an expectation that he can elevate this team to another level, like Jalen Brunson, like Karl Anthony Towns, or he could just be consistent and efficient on every single night. And that doesn't stick. That's not only offensively, but that is also defensively as well. And so he doesn't do that. We've seen this throughout the entire season, and I understand where the frustration is coming from. It's not him as a player. It partially is, but it's not all that. It's the 5 picks. And if let's say we traded 1 first round pick for him, like, are we really criticizing him this much? Maybe, but he's not under the same microscope as he is right now, just because what are the assets that we have to go make another move if this doesn't work out as people are thinking. Now, for me, like I'm saying, I've come to terms with it because this is just who he is as a player, right? And like, if that's who he is as a player, it's who he is as a player. And what we need to focus, the frustration needs to go to the front office, because they bought in that this guy could be that guy. They're the guys who trade those 5 first round picks, not Bridges. Bridges didn't say, hey, trade for 5 first round picks for me. The front office believed that. And so, with that being said, I understand where the frustration comes from. I'm like, when we criticize his game, it's because of who he is as a player, the value that, he's perceived to have based on what you traded to get him. But at the end of the day, if this is who he is, this is who he is. And the only thing that you got to look back is at the front office. Like, why would you go? Like, what you didn't do the proper evaluation in figuring out who he is as a player. Now, with all that said, this could change. He could be that guy and just show up in the postseason. It's very hard to believe that, because I don't believe everyone just has a switch they could just, turn on and be like, all right, now I could just be this consistent guy every single time. Like, we watch guys like Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, like those guys are who they are, and they show that they're that, and then even more when the bright lights are shining on them. I don't think that's something that Bridges is capable of doing, just because we've had bright lights throughout the regular season. Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson have talked about it on their show, saying, hey, these games mean something to us, and then those games that mean something to them, he has fallen short. So that's why I'm coming to terms with it, and this is on the front office to figure out moving forward. That's it at the end of the day.
And real quick, to your point, Alex, like, it's not. I don't think either of us are saying we need him to score 15 or 20 a night. My thing is this: when your shot is not falling, how else are you affecting the game? Like, there are some games where he is completely missing. He just fades out of the game, put him on a milk carton, and you're wondering, what did Mikal Bridges do in the first quarter, the second quarter? That's the thing that I want from him. I just want to see consistency in the defense, because they're in the beginning of the season, we all know the shot was horrendous, and also defensively he was struggling a lot. And then there's been spurts during the season where both of those components have been firing on all cylinders, and there's some other parts of the season where one part of his game is going really well, and then the other part is kind of taking some time to catch up. All I want to see is that even if his shot is falling, clearly he can play make, right? We've seen that. So drive the ball and spray it out. Defend your position, help defense, whatever it is. Whatever, shine in your role. And I think that's the hardest thing to do when you go from being on the Nets to coming here when he's getting however many shots he was getting. But I think it will work out. He's the type of player that's very coachable. He works hard, and maybe it is just the case that the starting five needs more time to gel, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the other conversation is that maybe it's just another season of him getting familiar with this team under his belt, and
Right.
then Tibbs is able to implement something for him where he can look even better than he does now. And part of this is also on the coach, to create plays for him while he's out there. Part of this is also on Bridges just to be aggressive while he's out there. It's a blend of a lot of things for the Bridges situation, and it could take time. This could just be who it is, and that's where I'm leaning towards. I think it's just he is who he is. And it's just got to be somewhere in the middle, man. The consistency has to be somewhere in the middle. It can't be these like massive ebbs and flows where it's like tonight you throw up 20 points, high efficiency. Cavs, Celtics, where are you? Like we're we're waving the flags, like, hey man, we're over here. We need help. Help us. Like it can't be like that every single night, man. It can't be like that every single night. So to Knicks Nation, thank you all for tuning in for the KFTV post game live. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. With me on the other side is my guy Jeff Campbell, aka Jeff Boyardee. You can go follow him on X. All right, we are here to hear your takes, and we got Zach on the line. Zach, what's going on, man? How are you feeling about this game?
How am I feeling? I mean, it looked like a good win. The Knicks obviously came out shooting efficiently, and by saying efficiently, that's an understatement. I mean, they basically couldn't miss a shot in the first half. So, that looked a great part of their game. OG is ridiculous, man. He has just unlocked a part of his game that nobody ever thought was coming. I mean, his offensive prowess is truly a revelation to this team. So that happened. I think that's one of the only benefits I see that happened under JB's injury.
Mm-hmm.
But I think tomorrow's the real test. I think tomorrow we're going to see a team that's getting more prepared for the playoffs, a full squad. If JB plays, obviously, that's just speculation at this point, but there's a good chance of it. So and Mitch comes back. You'll probably have a Cat Towns playing, in tandem with him at some point, just to see what we're getting prepared for come playoff time.
Absolutely. Look, we're going to see what this team's all about. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games left of the regular season. Brunson has played 61 games, so he just needs to play 4 of these, just to make it for his accolades for the regular NBA season. But tomorrow, this is the fine tuning period. You got 5 games left. Phoenix up next tomorrow. Tuesday, you got the Boston Celtics. Thursday, you got the Detroit Pistons. Friday, you got the Cavs. And then you end the season with the Brooklyn Nets, which, I hopefully, if these guys do play, which they probably will, be for like, hopefully a half, if that, just to keep them fresh. And then cut it, let those guys rest. And then we get ready for the important season of everything. Postseason, baby. But hey, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. What are your expectations for what happens tomorrow, Zach, before I let you go?
So my expectations for tomorrow, interestingly enough, I like the change with Delon playing started. I think he usurped Cam at this point.
Mm.
I mean, I think that's the only reason Tibbs would have made that choice. Tibbs doesn't make any changes in his lineup unless he sees something that's credible for his lineup moving forward. And then tomorrow I just hope, like you mentioned, I'm starting to come up with a new nickname for him. I think he's Drawbridges because the dude is either up or down every game. He's just, he's never at that even position. He never just like finds that equilibrium where he's playing either quality defense or quality offense. He really has a hard time, just come to terms with who he is on this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate the call as always, Zach. Appreciate you always tapping in.
No worries, my guys. You guys have a wonderful evening and salute KFTV. Thumbs up, share, and like.
Appreciate you, Zach, as always. And hey, I think that's a good conversation starter, or good just conversation just to have, man, because we did have Cam Payne return today, right? And Delon Wright still got the start, still played a good portion of the minutes. Do you think Tom Thibodeau puts Delon Wright with the second unit, or does he go back to Cam Payne?
I think he's very, very close to making the switch. And it's for me, it's all about Delon
Mm.
Wright's defense, man. It's like crazy to me now that we're having like these conversations about him versus Tyler Kolek. Like Delon Wright has been really, really solid, man. Like anticipating, hands in the passing lane, really good anticipation. The three ball has been falling, which I will say this, the one thing I love about, not the one thing, I like Cam Payne a lot. I like that he gives up his body, the charges. Obviously, he hits shots, but he hits big shots. Like Cam Payne is a momentum changer. That's the one thing he's got over Delon Wright. Like Cam Payne can do something that can start a run, end a run, and that's not quantifiable. That's not going to show up in the stat sheet. But fans that are watching the game, or if you're in the arena, you can tell this guy just did something to change the momentum. So, but honestly, man, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Tibbs is going to do. Is he going to use the last 5 games to kind of play them both equal minutes or what and make a decision? But I would think he's got to be really, really considering um, playing Delon Wright in that role. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I think it's a very serious decision that he's leaning towards. Um, my only thought process, and like I agree with you, like Cam Payne's that type of guy that can, take the wind right out of the sail, wait based on how he plays. Like we saw that last year when we played it against Philadelphia. Like he hits big shots, and it's like, oh my god, will it stop?
Yeah,
He's the same thing like Kyle Lowry. Like Kyle Lowry would do the same thing, like just maybe not necessarily a big shot, but draw the charge, do something, or get the steal. And it's like, come on, bro, can we just stop with what's going on right now? My thing is that it doesn't happen enough, and that's more of like a dice roll. Like, are you going to are you gonna get the winning roll? Probably not. And so I think for me at this point, I need more consistency. And Wright has just shown that he can be a decent table setter. He's going to play defense. He's 6'5". He's got the wingspan to,
that's true.
guard the passing lanes. And I think with Brunson returning, he should get the nod with the second unit just because when Cam is out there, he's not necessarily looking for guys either. Like that's my biggest issue is that he's
Yeah,
looking for his own shot. And then when you look at guys like Shamit, like is Shamit even finding rhythm? Like when we saw, when you even have Kolek out there, or if Wright is out there, Shamit has looked much better when it's other than Cam Payne. And like if we look at tonight, right? Like Shamit, yeah, guys 12 points, played 30 minutes. Granted, it's against a Hawks team, so he should feel comfortable and after getting to a good rhythm without Payne. But you know, am I like 4 for 11 is not necessarily the greatest stat line. 4 for 10 is fine because he just puts up a lot of threes,
yeah.
and that's 40% right there. But like Payne's gotten into a rhythm not Payne. Sham has gotten into a rhythm not because of Cam Payne. It's because he hasn't been there and it's been other guys. That's my only reason for leaning towards going with Wright. But part of me just feels like Tibbs, who's very concrete in his way,
Very
is
loyal.
is going to go with Cam Payne and just it's like all right, then we just go back to what it is.
But one thing, but dude, think of the lineup versatility. If you have Deuce and Delon guarding the perimeter, if you want to go really small and you put Landry at the three, that's a tough defensive lineup, man. Like those guys get after people. And the whole thing is going to be how uncomfortable can you make the opposing guards? Everybody has their sets. Everybody wants to get into what they want to do. And you have to have guys out there that can disrupt that. We know OG can do that. We know Mikal can do that. But I loved what you brought up about Delon's size. I completely forgot about that. That's a big part of this, man. So I don't know. I really hope, and I hate to get caught up in the recent thing that is going well, because who knows if it's going to be consistent. But Delon Wright feels like he could be a difference maker.
Absolutely, man. Look, especially when you're going to be playing teams that are, going to be tough, like against even the Bucks, right? Like they're a team that has height, wingspan. You want to match that. You don't want to, go against. You don't want to just put small players out there. And granted, the Knicks have defeated the Bucks every single time this season. You still don't
Yeah.
want to take any chances. Anything could happen in the postseason. But when you think about playing Boston, Cleveland, any one of those teams, like you want to make sure that you have your advantages there. And part of me feels like I know Cam is the wild card, as we already discussed, but and like he could certainly go off. Like I'm not saying Tibbs just buries him on the bench. I think he has to know when to just quickly switch. It's like, all right, DeLon's not giving me anything right now. Let's go to Cam Payne. McBride's not hitting his shots tonight. Let's go with Cam Payne because he's always ready. He has that irrational confidence. We need somebody like that right now. So I totally understand that. But, it's got to be, Tibbs has to be, in tune with what the roster is doing and how they're performing in the moment. I feel like that's where his, like, no coach is perfect at
No,
all.
that's his weakness, though. I agree
But
with
that's
you.
definitely what his,
He
that's definitely
does,
what his weakness is.
yeah, like he doesn't ride momentum. He goes, and he does it sometimes, but he goes back to what he knows.
Yeah. And it can't always be that. It can't always be that. But you know what, man? I can tell you what is tried and true. Always gives you confidence. Always is consistent. The thing that the people need in their lives. And that's Skims, man. Skims is what you need in your life. All right, let me tell you something about Skims right now. Okay, people? Look, I'm not going to go full CP on this thing, but Skims are great. Look, they now have created a line for men where they can have, underwear that's comfortable, breathable, fitting, gives you the right support that you need. So go support Skims, man. And look, Kim K did a phenomenal job with this. She's helped KFTV waste the entire team with them. I love my Skims. CP, we already know CP loves his Skims, man. The man can't stop talking about it, all right? We already know what he likes to wear. The 5-inch seams, all right? We all get it, CP. But hey, go support our sponsors, man. Skims has done wonders, and it's just a great product overall. So make sure to go support them. Make sure to go to the website. Go purchase yourself a pair of underwear. Or you know what? If you got your lady out there and you want to surprise her, go purchase some Skims. We all know they all watched the Kardashians once in a while. All right. So make sure to go support your wives. Go support yourself. Go buy some Skims right now. Okay. It's a great product. All you got to do when you check out is just choose how you heard. Just go to select podcast and put KFTV in there. Let them know that we sent you over there. So that way you help us out. Okay. We're helping you and then you got to help us out. Okay. That's how it all works. So make sure to go support the sponsor of the NBA, Skims. All right, man. No testimonials, all right? Goes with Manscaped. No testimonials. Okay. Now let's get back to it, man. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. And hopefully Tibbs is confident enough. Maybe he needs to get a pair of Skims. You know what I mean? Maybe he needs to get a pair of Skims to make sure that he's confident in the decision making that he's doing. Maybe he's a little worried when it gets to I don't know, man. Should I make the lineup switch? Should I really go with Delon Wright over Camp? Like maybe that's what he's going through his mind right now, man.
But he switched up the sneakers today, so maybe you never know.
This is true, man. This is absolutely true. Make sure to call in, people, if you all got questions. We're come through the Discord, download the app. Make sure to go through the web browser, whatever fits your fancy. We want to hear your takes tonight. All right, want to know what you all think about this game. TM, if you want to throw in the chat, if we think let's get a poll on this. Will Tibbs bench Cam for Delon Wright? So will Delon be with the second unit or will Cam be with the second unit? I need to know, man. I need to know what the people are thinking. Let's shout out to some of the franchise channel members in here, man. We got Eddie Suarez in here. We got Thomas Donnery. Shout out to you. We got Life of a Leo in here. We got the legendary Chuck D. Throw a hashtag PE in the chat. Ooh, Chuck with the super chat too. Let's read the super chat. Chuck gave us a $20 super chat. Shout out to you, Chuck. He said the KFTV nickname for Delon is Do the Right Thing. I love that, man. Shout out to Spike Lee too. Long hands on defense. 32 and 10 teams is wisdom for PG. Cam and Delon should be situational. Salutes Alex and Jeff. Playoffs. The 9, 10, 11 Tibbs will make optional now. And that's how it's going to be, man. We already know what the set rotation is. I mean, 1 through 7. We already know what the 5 is. We know Mitch is going to be in there. We know that Deuce is going to be in there. I think it comes down to Precious, Cam, Delon, and Shaman.
Shaman, yeah.
You know, because you're going to need 3-point we're going to need 3-point shooting.
Probably give Shamet the edge just with how he's playing right now.
Sham at the edge. You're giving Sham at the edge for
I'm
the
giving
A
Sham at
spot.
the edge. If it's gonna be 8.
Mm,
If it's gonna be 8.
mm.
I really hope it's gonna be 9, but we'll see.
It's gonna be 8.5.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
probably. I think you're
that's
right.
that's the real way it's gonna go, man. The Tibbs is not gonna go full 9. That's just I think like we already see he likes to make sure that he has his guys out there and just give them minutes to stay in rhythm. Although they are gonna need a break, but we'll see. We shall see what's going to happen. Were you shocked that Mitchell Robinson didn't play tonight?
No, I knew one of the games he was gonna sit. Um, and I think it's better, you play him at home. Um, doesn't have to do the flight after he's just played, and you give him a little more time to relax and stuff like that. So I wasn't that surprised. I would really like to see more time with him and Cat on the floor, and I unfortunately don't think that in the playoffs we're going to see a lot of minutes with those two, but I haven't looked at their net rating in a while, but it was 25. I mean, granted, it was only like 33 minutes, but um I have a feeling that's like an unlocked gem. I just, because you can't have, if Cat plays 35 to 38 minutes at the 5. Well, no, it wouldn't be solely at the 5 because Mitch will share the floor with him at some point. But him at the 5, teams are just gonna pick and roll us to death, man. And there's been some games where I can see Cat, he's being smart about taking certain angles. He's not getting into foul trouble, but that's been few and far between. Most of it has not been pretty when it comes to him guarding the pick and roll. So Tibbs has really got to look at that. Like, how are we going to mitigate that? How are we going to limit that damage? Because it's going to be there. Teams are just going to pick and roll Jalen and Cat until you get one of them on an island, and they're going to have at it.
For sure. And I'm not surprised that Mitch, he was going to play a back to back. And I was shocked that, even some thought Brunson would return tonight. I'm like, first game back, you're going to have Brunson on the
No
first
way.
game of a back to back. I'm like, there's no way that's
Yeah.
happening. But shout out to CP for calling it right. Said that he would return against Phoenix. Yo, yeah, trust and believe KFTV, man. CP
Trust the
has been
sources.
leading the charge. He told you when Mitchell Robinson was going to return. He told you when how long Jalen Brunson was going to be out for. He told you when Jalen Brunson was going to be return. Come on, man. This is why you tune into KFTV. CP's got the intel. He got it. He even told you all about Cat, man. I wasn't thrilled at the beginning when I heard that, but hey, the man was spot on. The man was spot on. But no, getting back to Mitch, I'm not surprised that he was going to miss one of these 2 games, and it made sense that he didn't play against the Hawks. Wanted against Phoenix, better talent on that team. Even though they're going through their own troubles right now, KD's probably going to leave that team after this season. But
Lost 5 in a row too. They're rough.
Awful. They're doing everything possible to not be in the play-in, and yet they're still in the play-in. So for them, it made sense. But to your point about Mitch and Cat being in the same lineup, like we've seen that sparingly. Isn't that kind of weird, man? Even though like when he's been back, because I get that Mitch has been on a minutes restriction, but don't you want to see what this looks like? Because if you do play Boston, if you do play, especially the Cavs, like I would expect you want to get them somewhat familiar sharing the court together for extended time. No?
You have to. You have to, man. Like I'll be the biggest I'll say all my apologies to Mitch because when we first got Cat, my immediate thought was that we have to lean into the offense and we've got to make sure that we can leverage whatever we can do to make this the best offensive team with Cat at the 5. But since I've seen Mitch come back, I completely feel different now. I think you've got to do whatever you can to make the best of Mitch in that situation because he brings the rim protection. He knows how to guard the pick and roll. He's been great at rebounding, not just those one hand taps that he gets to each other, being really aggressive and helping out a lot. And free throw shooting is improved. I don't know if there's something different with his form, But it's looked better recently. So I don't know what he did while he was off, but it definitely looks good.
It definitely looks better for Mitch. And oh, look at this. Well, as our producer Daniel is setting everything up, we got the CEO in the building, the man who has the intel for the Brunson injury, the man who has the intel for the Mitchell Robinson injury, the man who has the intel for the Karl Anthony Towns trade. He is here with us from Atlanta.
Undisclosed
None other.
location.
We have no idea where this man is right now. He looks safe. He looks he's comfortable in that hotel room. None other than CP the franchise. What up, CP?
Yo, how we feeling, man? Can you guys hear me okay? We good?
You good, man. This is your
All
show,
right.
man. You can run the show now. You're all set.
All right, I'm quite undressed from an equipment standpoint. I don't have the studio with me. I didn't travel with the studio. It was a short weekend. I got the lady with me, so I got to get an old man power nap in, but I got to come in and check in with the number one show for the fans, by the fans, real quick, with a stadium report, Atlanta report, and all of that. So that's why I'm here tonight. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's why you are who you are, man. But first and foremost, all right, gotta know how about the vibes. How are the vibes in the A right now?
Bro, like, that's why I need a nap, man. The vibes are immaculate. Shout out to everybody that came through to ATL tonight at Hudson Grill. It was a beautiful affair. We had like almost 200 RSVPs. It was a KFTV takeover. It was another KFTV takeover. The love was real, man. Like, we had day ones from Alabama to Georgia, New York, Florida, all over the place, man, that came through. Families, people by themselves, full families. It was an incredible atmosphere. We had the whole place packed out, inside, outside. So, we just want to say thank you first and foremost to everybody that came out. The love was so real today. A lot of love inside the stadium at the State Farm Arena. You know how we do when we come to Atlanta, man. It is MSG South, truly. And of course, on a Saturday, Hawks fans got other things to do. So the place was kind of empty, especially in the lower bowl. And then once we started to wash them out, the Hawks fans started leaving a little early. You know what I mean? So it was that type of occasion. But Knicks Nation showed out heavy today, man. It was great.
That's awesome, man. Not surprised that Hawks fans decided to leave the. I mean, do they even have a true contingent of Hawks fans?
Listen to this, right? Listen to this. So as the RSVPs, so during the week, as I'm planning for this event, right, and the RSVPs start piling up. Mind you, we hosted at this place before. And we for the playoffs a couple of years ago. And this is Atlanta. Like, I used to live out here. I used to go to school out here. So I know the vibes. It's very South. It's very slow motion, like casual affair. And I'm calling these people. I'm like, yo, listen, like, I got like almost 200 people coming here at 12 o'clock. I'm just making sure that you are properly staffed. And the manager's on the phone with me. He's like, oh, well, I'm going to do what I can do, but we might be busy. It's a beautiful day. It's going to be 86 outside. And this is what he tells me, bro. He goes, I don't even know what the hell the name Atlanta FC soccer team is playing. And I said, yo, what time is the game at? He goes, 7:30. I was like, yo, bro, nobody is coming to your establishment to watch no damn Atlanta soccer. My people are coming through to take over. Make sure that you are staffed. Listen to me. The guy acted like he didn't want any money, bro. It was crazy. So we had to go and New York it out. Everything worked out. It was a packed affair. Everybody had a great time, man. People were networking, building relationships, and that's like the byproduct of what we do. So it was a good turnout.
That's awesome, man. And I'm actually not surprised about the soccer team. So I got a cousin that he has a decent size little parking lot out there. I was like, yo, what's it like for Hawks games, Falcons games, all this? He's like, he's like, my best business is for soccer. I was like, oh
yeah.
It's like that down
they're
there,
fair, they're very fair weather out here, but that's just the vibes out here. But overall good game. The squad came through and took care of business as we expected them to. Towns, OG shooting the hell out of the ball. Was shooting 60% true shooting percentage. Mikal chipped in all 5 Knicks in double figures. So I didn't expect any, resistance from this Hawks team if the Knicks just came through and played their A game, which they did, well rested. Clyde was on our flight on the way here. Clyde was on our flight yesterday. The OG Clyde was sitting in first class, styling and profiling. So we were on the flight with Clyde on the way down. And it's easy money night, man. Bum night tonight in Atlanta.
Absolutely, Bill Knight. Yo, question for you though. Jeff and I were just talking about this. Yeah, Delon Wright got the start today with Cam Payne back. You think he replaces him on that second unit?
He could. Like, how can you all for a team that is in dire need of good defense, especially at the point of attack, and I'm not calling him a shutdown defender, but at least to slow things down. He's a great defender, better than Cam Payne. He's the best defender that we have in that backcourt. And the thing is with him is that, yes, you want him to be a bit more aggressive in terms of shooting the ball, but he also doesn't make as many mistakes. He's not a guy that like just makes terrible decisions. And the Knicks made a couple of boneheaded ones, especially Josh Hart. Like the cross-court passes and everything earlier in the game was like kind of ridiculous. But what I noticed with Delon Wright is he's pretty steady, man. So I think depending on the lineups that he's out there with, we could utilize a guy that's 6'5", is going to give you the effort. He's gritty, can get into the passing lanes. Like his steal percentage is still high up there amongst the league's best. We could use as much defensive help as we can get, man. So you put a Delon Wright out there with Mitch, with OG, like I'm with it, bro. I'm totally with it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And as Jeff and I were talking about, it's like Cam could just like pull the look at him tonight, right? Shooting wise, it's just like it's not there. And if he's going to be that guy that's just going to be looking for his own shot, I just like the steady flow of Delon Wright, man.
Yeah,
I just like that steady flow.
Yeah.
What else you got from us from Atlanta, man? What else do you got to tell us?
Well, listen. Well, first of all, Jeff mentioned Mitchie, rep the 23 today. You know what I'm saying? Rep the Block Nest today. He didn't play, but I didn't mind that, man. I was in there repping the Block Nest monster. He'll be back tomorrow night. And speaking of tomorrow night, it's all about the return of the captain, Jalen Brunson, man. Jalen back. Mitchie will be playing second night of a back-to-back. And the most important thing is that this squad is getting healthy as we get into money time. That is going to be the most important thing. Get healthy into money time. You get the whole week off from the 13th to the 19th/20th for everybody to rebuild. And then we get to it, man. Grind time, money time, game one. I'm ready to go.
Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. CP is in the building. We got a $5 super chat from Janelle Toure. He said, great seeing CP in the ATL. Let's
Janelle was
go.
in there. Yeah, Janelle was in there. Franchise channel members were in there. Shout out to Will Latimer was in there. There's a lot of KFTV day ones in there. A lot of KFTV franchise channel members in there. So, yeah, shout out to Janelle. We had the rally towels. I gave out all the ones that I brought. The closer, Jay Boogie, came down from North Carolina.
That. Let's go.
Jay Boogie pulled up. So, yeah, it was just one of those occasions, man, where, Atlanta's one of our hubs. So, it's always love down here where Knicks fans are concerned and love for Knicks Nation. And so, yeah, we had a great time. Shout out to you, man. I saw your tweet earlier, man. There was a little, misunderstanding, if you will, from the national media in regards to a certain breaking news.
Yes.
You understand? We had a little misunderstanding. We had to get some act right going on for our name.
Shout out to Ian Begley and SNY for correcting that too. Because it's getting nasty out here, man. Sham's not giving you credit.
Yeah.
Now you got Chris Haynes not giving you credit. What's going on here, man? You want to talk about it? Speak on it, man. Speak on it.
Listen, man. Listen. When I see Shams at Summer League, we're going to address it. We're going to air our grievances out, and we're going to have a little conversation. But the bottom line is this. As we've grown over these 8 years, we've started off as a podcast. And we are no longer a podcast. We are a media company. We are a media entity. That is what KnicksFanTV is. It's not just me. It's Alex. It's Jeff. It's JD. Shout out to CK in the play-by-play. Behind the scenes, we have a ton of people that are operating the machine. TM is in the chat. Shout out to Tyler. He's on vacation. Tyler's got to go on vacation. He's been working so hard. Shout out to Gamba. Shout out to Jalen. Right? Shout out to Omar. I don't want to forget anybody, but I think I got the core of the team. Al, correct me if I'm wrong. But what I'm saying is this is not a one-man team. This is an army right now, and we are a media entity, not a podcast. And so I say this all the time. Every once in a while, I have these episodes where I have to remind people that we need a reprogramming in terms of what this independent wave is about and how it is on par with those on the national level. See, people are not used to that. Some people don't want to see that and some people are not programmed for that, right? Some people want to say, well, ESPN's ice is colder, so I'm going to wait for ESPN to confirm those news. But they don't know the relationships that we have. They don't know the people that we know. So at the end of the day, I say this all the time. When we say things on this platform, we do not do it for clout. We do not do it to lie. We do not do it to sensationalize. When we hear things, we share it with the people because it is credible, because we want to share information with the people. So that's all it is. So we appreciate Ian Begley and SY for correcting the record. We're going to air it out with Shams. Trust me, I'm going to see Shams at Summer League. We're going to air it out with Shams. We're going to get some straightening. We're going to get some act right, but it takes time. It takes time for that reprogramming. But as I say to you, Al, all the time, as I say to my people, we serve the people at KFTV. We serve the Knicks fans who support us day in and day out, our franchise channel members day in and day out. We have a lot of fun here on this platform, but we take it very seriously. So I would never do anything to discredit myself, discredit this platform. Everything we do is to carry this thing forward. And ultimately, there's going to come a time when people recognize that, but it just takes some time. It just takes some time for that programming to kick in.
Well said. Well said.
Just nasty, man. Seeing, just seeing Chris. It's like breaking news. Like, hold on, buddy.
Yeah,
you didn't break anything. All right, you
Yeah,
did not break
go.
anything.
No.
Okay.
No.
How can you break a glass that's broken?
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. But we understand it. But at the end of the day, again, we appreciate everybody for supporting us, for backing us, and it's evident every time I step out and I go to these places, whether it's Atlanta, it was Miami a couple weeks ago, it's in New York at the watch parties or even on the streets. The love is real, man. So people, the real ones understand what's real. That's what I've been telling you, Al, and that's what we're gonna stick by.
Absolutely, man. Even when I go out in Boston, I go to a TD Garden, I go watch the Knicks play there. People recognize the brand, whether it's like, yo, I love what you guys do. They're always appreciative of what's happening at KFTV. I'm not surprised. I mean, I love the video where, you're just walking the street. Some guy like outside his car is just shouting like, yo, there you at? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
That's sick, man.
Yeah, and then he pulled up today. So if you look at the IG story, so completely random. Me and wifey's outside, we holding the vibe. This the place we was outside, they was playing music. So we was just vibing, waiting on the Uber. So this guy snipes me out. This is just a random block in Midtown Atlanta, random block. And then I showed on the IG story how he pulled up, decked out in his Knick gear today. Nice. So yeah, that's just how it is, man. The love is real out here, and we appreciate it. Good win, and we get back to it tomorrow, man. Take care of business, man.
Absolutely, bro. And so since this is for the people, let's get to another call, man. Let's see if
Yeah.
JBK to H Town is ready to give us his takes on this game. JBK to H Town, are you there? Please unmute your mic. JBK going once.
Okay.
Going twice. Come on, Jay. This is for the people. Man.
Yeah, Jay's usually good. He's usually good on the Discord.
Come on, Jay. All right, I'll get back to you, man. We'll keep the conversation rolling until you're ready.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing, man, is what do we expect from this roster with these last 5 games? What do we expect this team to do? Are we making much out of these games, or is it just kind of like, are we just like here waiting for the postseason at this point?
I think you can definitely.
I think there's 2 things at play here. It's and after this, I'll let Jeff go and I'll drop. But I think it's two. I think it's 2 things at play here. It's how does the captain look? Most importantly, how does he look? Can he shake off the rust? How is he moving? And then it's, do they continue to try to, because the magic numbers at what now, 2? So it's like, how quickly can they clinch 3 and then get some guys some rest, some extended rest, some nights off while he tries to get reacclimated with the team? I think there's 2 competing forces here. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, along that lines, guys, I was looking at the team from last year and how they finished the season. And they finished 6-4, which is not a bad record. But, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, I felt like the way they were winning games in their offense, it felt very much in quicksand, getting it out of the mud. Everything felt forced. Nothing was smooth. Right now, in JB's absence, I feel like our offense, and not every night, hasn't always been consistent, but we're getting a lot of guys involved. The ball is moving really well. Things feel efficient. I'm wondering if we just might time this right. Guys are coming back healthy. The offense is looking good. We might have a certain level of momentum going into the playoffs that I don't know if we've had in previous years. Okay, we had a good record and we were playing well-ish, but I don't know if we've had certain things come together in a way that they might be coming together now. So I'm actually very excited for these last 5 games because I think that we might hit a certain level of play that this team has not consistently hit all year, and we could be playing our best basketball when it matters most.
Very good points. Very good point, guys. Very good points.
Yeah.
All right, CP. I know you gotta dip, man. I know you gotta get back to doing the damn thing. So appreciate you always for stopping through, man. And appreciate you for what you've done and just being the great leader that you are and bring us along on this journey, man. KFTV
Absolutely.
is a hell of a platform. So salute to you, my man. You're constantly grinding. Glad to see that you were able to check in down in the A.
Yes, sir. Yo, good show, fellas. Jeff, welcome back. Al, great show. Shout out to Daniel, producer Daniel, man. Shout out to the Knicks chick. She made it on her first flight in a long time, man.
Let's
So
go.
she's getting back into the swing of things. She's ready for money time. So it's a good time for us, man. So thank God for everything. Salute to Knicks Nation. I'm about to take a nap, get my Skims on, and then get out on the town, man. Al, I hope you're rocking your Skims tonight. It's Saturday night.
There we
Switch
go.
the vibe up. I'm about to watch this Final Four, get my Skims on, and then go get something to eat, man. Yeah.
We already did the Skims read, man. Come on.
On that note,
On that note.
I didn't even know. It was just my mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! And I shout out to the Knicks chick. I'm glad that she's able to travel. I hear her laughing in the background. Shout out to you, Maria. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Enough with. We know you got the 5-inch. We already know, man. We already know. We know. We got it. Okay, we get it.
All right, man. Shout out to you guys, man. I'm out of here. Enjoy the weekend, bro.
All right, man. Later, bro. Catch you later.
All right.
And there he is, none other than CP the franchise. Y'all thought I was joking when we talk about the 5-inch sleeves, man. We all know what he's rocking. He's just gonna tell us every single day. We already know about the spa treatments and all that stuff, the bathhouses they likes to go to. Come on, man. Come on. Flags galore. Throwing the yellow flag, throwing the red flag. We got challenges. We got replays. We got to do. This is craziness, man. Absolute craziness. Salute to Knicks Nation for everyone tapping in. CP just came through. Yo, man, we do this all for you, man. We love the Knicks as much as you guys do, but we do it for the fans as always, all right? We do it for the fans as always. Let's see if Jay is ready to get back on the line with us. Jay, are you there? Jay going once. Jay going twice. Man.
damn.
Jay's chilling. CP's about to take a nap. You already know what it is, man. It's at that point of the show. It's not even KFTV After Dark. It is 7 p.m. How are we getting to KFTV After Dark hour so early? This is crazy. On a Saturday. This early on a Saturday. But hey, it is what it is. Shout out to Sean for the $2 super chat. Says, CP, I just got my snapback in the mail yesterday. Hey, man, if you all want some of the merch, make sure to go to KnicksFanTV.com/shop. So make sure to go check out the merch. Make sure to go cop whatever is dropping right now. We got the mural of all the Knicks players that came through. It's fire. So if you want to go get the print, make sure to go get the print. I want that. I'm going to be making sure to get that. Got to add this to the wall of all the Knicks stuff that I got. But if you want the shirt too, the shirt's right there. And don't worry, the postseason merch is going to be coming through soon. So make sure to stay locked in. And best place to figure that out is what Daniel, shout out to producer Daniel right now. Daniel, please put up the newsletter again. Make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. All right? Subscribe to the newsletter. It is a great thing. Absolute great thing, okay? Not only do you get updates on when videos are about to drop, but you get updates on new sponsors. So that way you know what promo codes you can use, and if there's anything that you want to go purchase, such as Manscaped. You got the Bear mattress right now that CP, that CP's been promoting the last couple of shows. You got Skims. If you all want some Skims, you can go there. So make sure to go sign up for the newsletter. On top of that, we got a bunch of great authors over there. Jeff has contributed over there. We got the editor, all right, KFTV Jalen. We got Remy with Remy's Recast. We got Omar doing the damn thing, okay? We got everybody chipping in over there, so make sure to go check it out. There's a lot of great articles to go tap into. Always giving you guys something to, stay locked in about the Knicks. So make sure to go subscribe to that newsletter and go support that way as well. All right. Hey, man. It's getting to that time, man. So we got to start talking about some other things. What do you all want us to talk about? What do you all want us to talk about? Throw some stuff in the chat if you want us to discuss some other things,
I'll
Knicks
throw
related
this.
stuff.
I'll throw a random one out there. First
right.
off, Precious Achua.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh, good Lord.
the offense was woof, and then some. But he had like 3 pretty impactful defensive plays, some really nice blocks. I don't know. It's so crazy, man, because there was parts during this year where I was certain that, he was gonna be in the playoff rotation, maybe have an impact, but man, it's so funny because if we had this conversation last year, the whole narrative is, damn, Precious Achua is the throw-in the OG trade, hidden gem, all this. Thank God we even people in the offseason, we were afraid we were going to lose him. Then we re-sign him. It's just been rough. Part of it is Mitch coming back, but man, there's just been some funkiness going on with his game that I just don't think he can really shake consistently enough to get big minutes in the playoffs. But I feel bad. I really like Precious Achua a lot, but I don't know, man. It's been tough. I mean, did he airball a layup today or a
I
finger
can't even
roll?
remember, man. I tried to block out the bad minutes, to be honest
It
with
was close. It was close. If he didn't airball it, it was close. But there was some real rough stuff from him.
Look, I'm not a big plus minus guy, but he was a -10. The lowest
Really warm guy.
plus minus on the team. Lowest minus, if you want to leave it at that. So,
Yeah.
look, it's been a struggle for Precious. He thrived last year after having a slow start with this team too. Like even I was off or like out on, him as a player, what he could provide for this team. And we saw like some craziness last year. How about when he was like he dove for the ball, he was on the court and then tried to throw a backward pass over his head against that Memphis Grizzlies team. I'm like, yo, what are we doing? But then he goes
Right.
on this magical run and then he's, crucial in what they were trying to do in the postseason. So look, as a role player, guys are always going to be up and down. That's why they're role players. They have good nights, they have bad nights, and all you hope is that they're pretty consistent. That's why when you look at guys like OG and Hart, who are role players, but higher end role players, that's what makes them so great because of the consistency and what they offer on both ends of the court, right? Even with Josh Hart being a little shaky on defense a little bit towards the end of the season, he still gives you a lot, right? But with Precious, this season, it's just been tough. And I wonder if it has to do with the injury that he sustained at the beginning of the year with that hamstring injury. He came back and said it took him some time to get confident, right? Because even when he returned from that injury, he wasn't playing with confidence. He was just so out of it. And the hope was that he could return to that form of what he was last season. Showed it for a little bit, but now it's just so up and down where I wonder if it's just, you don't have Isaiah Hartenstein out there.
Right.
Teams have changed. I don't know what he's going through, but it just stinks, man, because we do need him. He can be that energy guy. On some nights he can lead the fast break, get you some decent offense, be that crucial guy that gets you blocks, steals, and just be that energy guy on defense because he is versatile as a player, right? He could guard multiple positions, but you can't leave him out there if offensively he's going to miss guys who are cutting the lane. If he's going to be putting up some shots that are like, that is not your shot. Like the step back, like Dirk shots, I'm like, that is not your game, man. Like, what is happening over here? So with that, that's where his minutes have been so up and down. Now he did get 25 minutes tonight. This was a bad Hawks team. You do need him. You don't have Mitchell Robinson. But when Mitch comes back, and it's full time and it's postseason, I don't really see him getting many minutes unless one of those two guys are in foul trouble.
Yeah. I mean that's super fair. It's just On one hand, it's a good sign that we, I know at the beginning of the season everybody is worried about the depth that we have on the roster after the Cat trade. I mean, big picture, we're still worried about depth to an extent, but it's nice to know that Precious Achua, who is essentially, a mainstay in our rotation last year, and obviously it's mostly due to his play, but he's struggling to get minutes because we have other guys producing. Not necessarily a ton of other bigs producing. I mean, Ariel Hukporty's hurt, but the fact of the matter is the bulk of the 5 minutes are going to go to Cat and Mitch. And yeah, you can play Precious technically at the 4, but man, some of those combinations with him and Cat have just been really, really rough to watch. So it's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is this year.
Just the way it is. We got 203 Chip G on the line. 203 Chip G, what's going on?
Hello, Alex. Can you hear me, man?
Yes, sir. What's going on, my man? How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Long time listener, joined around the COVID times, man. I'm a huge fan and supporter of the show, man. And I just wanted to call in with the stadium report. I went to the game tonight.
Nice. Well, give us the stadium report, man. What did you think of this game?
It was dope, man. New York, the Knicks were in there heavy. The Atlanta crowd is really, really dull and dry. They only cheered for the chicken tonight. It was really bad. But it was a balanced game with no Jalen, no Mitch, no Deuce. They were all, except everybody was courtside except Mitch. I didn't see Mitch there tonight, but and I saw PJ Tucker really mentoring the guys. During halftime, he was out there rebounding for everybody. He didn't put up any shots, but he was out there rebounding for everybody and providing that leadership, talking to Josh Hart on the sidelines, helping them get acclimated and really encouraging them. So that was good to see. Man, we got a dog on our hands, man. OG is killing it, man. He is everywhere on the court. So it's really good to see him ramped up before the playoffs. But my second point is Cat got to relax, man. The injury, re-injuring the hand is really scary, man. Like I think he should just play it cool before the playoffs because he's wincing and he's limping up and down the court. I saw him limp one time on the lower baseline, and then he injured his left hand again and left the game, and then came back, and it's really scary. I think he should just dial it back. But still, I think he had 30 and 10 tonight. It was crazy. He was doing. He's not athletic, but he's out there working and getting buckets. He's a dominant force. But what I also noticed, Delon Wright is a big guard like Tibbs likes. He likes the 6'5" wings that with big hands and that can really defend. So I think he could have a role in the playoffs if Cam needs a break or is not cutting it. Cam played good tonight too. He had 5 or 6 assists. I think 3 points. He had one key shot, but really dished the ball tonight really well. So it was good to see the team in person. Much different seeing them in person than watching on TV. So it was good. My wife is a big fan, and she bought me tickets for my birthday, and we went out there tonight and had a good time. So it was a dope experience, man. But tried to make it to the meet and greet, couldn't make it in time to meet CP, but pulled up to the game and it was dope, man. 3-point shooting is contagious for us. I think if we move the ball and get everything going, everybody gets contagious. As you see, everybody was knocking them down tonight, so it was a good thing. But yeah, Cat got to relax, man. He has to chill and get ready for the playoffs, and we look forward to seeing Jalen and Deuce come back. Hopefully, Jalen comes back tomorrow and Deuce in the near future.
Question for you before I let you go, Chip. How do you want Cat to like tone it down? Because just ask CP, just ask Jeff. How should this team, approach these last couple of games? We got 5 games left of the regular season, so he's going to play. You want this team to get into rhythm. So are you looking for Tibbs to cut back some minutes? Are you looking for what are you looking for Cat to really cool it down?
Limited minutes, man. I know we're playing for seeding right now. Well, we're pretty much locked in the playoffs. We're playing to see who we're going to play against, but limited minutes, man. Maybe 20, knock it down to 20 minutes, 15, maybe first and third quarter. I don't know, but I know with Jalen coming back, everybody's trying to get the rhythm of how it's going to be in the playoffs. But man, we need him at 100%, and he's not moving good. He already wears a size 20 shoe, so he's not the most fluid guy out there. So it was really interesting to see it in person. I've been watching all the games. I'm all 82, but to see it in person, like he's not moving fluidly out there. But he's just so dominant that nobody can really contain him. But that hand, man, I'm worried about. At least it's his left and not his right. But today he was getting a lot of and ones. It was falling for him today. But in the past, I didn't hear "Oh my God" in person today, so I was a little sad I didn't get to hear that. No "Oh my Gods," but it was a good game, and but I do need him to pull back. I think Tibbs should give him a break or give him a little more rest. And Precious, I don't know. Precious I don't know what he was doing. He's on an island out there tonight, but man, I don't know. Maybe Porty can come back and give us some little relief. I know
He's
he's
done, man. He's out. He's
he's
out for the
done.
season, right?
Yeah, he's
God,
out.
I thought it was 4 to 5 weeks.
No, they just
Golly.
announced it. They just announced it. Was it today that he's done for the season? Won't be returning. So this is all we got, man. Once everybody returns, no Huck Porty, but this is the rest that we got.
All right. Well, I'm not even gonna do the Moses Brown thing, but I know like everybody else. But yeah, we're thin at that position. I mean, hopefully Mitch can rest up and come back, but Tibbs is only gonna play 8 or 9 guys anyway. So this is what we got.
This is what we got, man. Shout out to you, Chip, for calling in, man. Glad that the missus got you tickets to celebrate. Shout out
Yeah.
to you, man. Appreciate you for calling in.
Love you guys, man. Appreciate you.
No
Later,
doubt.
Chip.
That was Chip G calling from the A. He was there in attendance. Watch it, man. That's Chip G with the Stadium Report. Hey, man. You're looking for Cat to reduce some minutes. I don't think that's going to happen. But I don't think that will happen yet. I think that will happen with like the last 2 games. I think because I don't see the Cavs playing anybody really for that second to last game, and definitely not what are we doing against the Nets?
Something that Chip G brought up, huge point. I feel like it's gonna go under the radar, but the PJ Tucker anecdote to me is a big deal. What did Josh Hart say on the roommates pod? He said that as a team, we've been struggling to figure out how to call out guys publicly. You miss your assignment. It sounds to me like they're walking around on eggshells a little bit with some of the people that are in the locker room. Who it is, I don't know. But PJ Tucker's come in there and he said, listen, I'm a vet. I've been there. I've been in many different locker rooms, won a chip with Milwaukee. He's letting people know if you mess up, we got to call you out because the only way you're going to get better is you have to own up, understand your mistakes so you can understand how to fix it. That's another piece of what I was saying before when CP was with us, of things coming together at the right time. You could feel it with this group. Like the little, how do I say it? Like just miscommunications earlier in the year. You could tell that some guys on the roster had some issues with each other. But, I don't think it ever made it to mainstream media and whatever. It's a good, solid locker room culture, and, that's a sign of it. But I think PJ Tucker coming in at the point in which he has, I think is going to make a big impact so that nobody is above reproach. Everybody that makes a mistake, we're calling it out. We have to fix it. We have huge plans. We have goals that we need to accomplish, and everybody needs to be on the same page. So I'm just hoping that continues, and everyone is going to be open and transparent about what they need to do to fix it.
Yeah, man. We'll see how that goes. And I think the biggest thing for this team is just making sure like they're just in rhythm at this point. I don't think it's I know that's what we're talking about. It's just being in rhythm, and you don't want to like go into the postseason cold. Like in any sport, you always hear about getting hot at the right time, whether that's baseball, whether that's football. Goes the same thing for basketball. You want to get hot at the right time, and so with everyone getting healthy, with these last 5 games, you hope that it's pretty seamless. This especially the starting 5, they played so many minutes together that it should be that unfamiliar. But the only thing that we could see are the changes to the bench unit and see how that plays out. Right, that's the only thing that we got to look at. And so, with that being said, let's talk about this postseason before we get on to key stats of the night and then wrap this thing up. Actually, you know what? Let's go to key stats of the night. All right, let's actually go to key stats of the night because I want to talk about postseason last because I'm looking at these standings right now. It's tight. Knicks are 3 games up on the Pacers. Pistons are only a half game up on the Milwaukee Bucks. So there is a chance that things could change there. Well, let's talk about the key stats of the night. All right. Brought to you by Manscaped. So let's get into this. We'll get to tonight's stats. Obviously, we know the New York Knicks won 121-105. Funny enough, the rebounding battle was dead even, 38 boards apiece. Knicks won the assist battle 32-24. Now, they did lose the steal and block battle 8 and 5 respectively. They did win the turnover battle by 13. But here's the key points of tonight. The shooting is what really changed the outcome of this game. And I mean, just great shooting by this team. Knicks shot 54% from the field. They shot 52% from downtown, and they shot 82% from the free throw line. Conversely, you had the Hawks who shot 47% from the field, 31% from downtown, 75% from the free throw line. And so it was really right there where, even though the rebounding battle matched, if you're shooting the ball well, not a lot of boards to grab if everything's just falling. So great efficient shooting night by the Knicks. And the other thing that they were able to take advantage of was the paint scoring. I mean, with Cat and OG getting downhill, they did win the points in the paint battle 54-50. Now, they did lose a second chance opportunities battle 11-8. Hawks got that one. And the fast break battles, just Atlanta won by 17-16. Tonight, for me, man, I'm just looking at the shooting. That's what really determined this outcome. What are some of your takeaways from these key stats?
Yeah, I mean, 51% from three, 51.752. I mean, that's insane. Um, it's a product of their ball movement, man, honestly. Like I feel like, it starts with just really poor defense from the Hawks. So I mean, I'm not gonna go overboard on the Knicks shooting, but at the end of the day, you still have to hit the shot when you take it. You have to move the ball. You have to find, the appropriate space. And the Knicks have been doing that really well. Again, I'm going back to just things coming together at the right time because this team is, I think, has a strong confidence in each other that when you move the ball, it's going to come back. Or if you move without the ball, you're going to get it. Um, that's something that even the guards that have come in, whether it's been Delon Wright or Tyler Kolek, um, shooters know that they can get the shots that they're supposed to get if they move without the ball. But I think just overall, the Knicks are playing with a great level of confidence right now. Not so much when they play, really big talent in the East or other in the West, but they're playing well enough right now that I mean I would expect what their last 5 games is Detroit, uh, Brooklyn, Phoenix, and who are the other two? There's one more against the Cavs, right?
There's one more game against the Cavs, yeah.
Yeah, and then the other team, I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, you got to figure we're gonna win at least 2 or 3. I don't know what the last couple of games are gonna look like in terms of who's gonna play and who's not gonna play. I don't think Tibbs is gonna sit his entire starting 5 for a half or anything like that, but
Oh,
listen, who knows? Who knows? But you got to win at least 2 or 3 of the last games here and see how Brunson plays. And again, you hit the playoffs with a certain level of momentum, and we could be shooting for something special.
could be shooting for something special indeed, man. I could see Tibbs sitting the entire starting roster for a half if it's against the Cavs or the,
The Nets,
or the Nets.
yeah,
But we'll see where that comes. But you're talking about confidence. I always tell you, people, if you want to talk about confidence, especially going to this postseason, all right? There's no other confidence than Manscaped. Manscaped can bring you confidence. All right, folks? So get ready for the ultimate grooming showdown. Manscaped is bringing its starting 5 to take your game to the next level. The chaos of March is here. And, well, now we're in April, but you know the March Madness. The chaos of March is here, and you better be ready to dominate, whether you're throwing down on the court or throwing down a reality check on Steve from accounting after he airballs another presentation. Either way, this lineup has you covered from head to toe. Stay sharp and feel sharper with Manscaped all season long. Team, this lineup is built for winners. So don't let your grooming game get benched. Head over to manscaped.com, use KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping, and get ready to score big with Manscaped. Look, and they got a plethora of materials, plethora of equipment to lace you up with. You got the lawnmower 5.0. That's your point guard right there, okay? You got the Chairman Plus. That's your shooting guard, okay? You got the Handyman. That's your small forward. You got the Beard Hedger. That's your power forward. And then you got the center, the Dome Shaver Plus. Hey, yo. But hey, make sure to go check out any of those things. All right, make sure to use that promo code KFTV to get up to 20% off plus free shipping. All right, because look, the products are great. Beard shaver, the beard hedger, I could tell you is legit. I use it, keeps me looking good. The missus loves it, so I recommend all the products to you. No testimonials, all right? But make sure you use that promo code KFTV to get up to 20% off plus free shipping. Manscaped. All right, man. Gives you the confidence, man. Just gives you confidence. All right, now let's talk about the postseason. Let's talk about the playoff picture, Jeff, and then we can wrap it up and get on out of here. We'll get at the standings right now. We already know who's number 1 and who's number 2. That's Cavs and Celtics, respectively. You got the Knicks, who are 3rd right now. They got a 3-game lead over the Indiana Pacers. That could change after I think they play. I think they do play tonight. You got the Detroit Pistons, who are a half game up on the Milwaukee Bucks, and that's 5-6 right there. So these games are critical, man. What do you think? Do you think we get the Bucks? Do you think we get the Pistons? Actually, scrap that question. Who do you want?
All right.
Is there a preference?
I'm very excited that you went there with that. So let me preface this by saying I fear no team that we could play in the first round. I don't. However, I'm not gonna straddle the fence here and not answer the question. I would much rather see the Milwaukee Bucks over the Detroit Pistons, and here's why. It has nothing to do with what we did to the Bucks in the regular season. I'm all about vibes and energy. To me, the Bucks feel and look like a team that's headed in a certain direction. I don't know what's going on in the locker room. Every time you hear Giannis speak, he's basically talking about the effort level and attention to detail and awareness of his teammates. He's not sure if they want it enough. He's not sure if people are playing 48 minutes. I'm not worried about the Bucks. Hey, maybe they could win a game or two, but especially with Lillard hurt, I'm not worried about them. Yes, they do have length. They have some athletic players, but I'm not worried about them. The Detroit Pistons, again, they don't worry me. They don't scare me, but they're a team that's playing with a lot of confidence and energy. I see people on Knicks Twitter saying they're just going to be just happy to be there. It's going to be an easy first round matchup. I don't feel that way at all. They play really gritty. They play tough defense. JB Bickerstaff has done a pretty good job with that team. And they've got some really solid players. Alsar Thompson, Marcus Sasser, who I freaking watched a ton of when he was at Houston. I love that kid coming out of the draft. They've got, of course, Cade. How could you not talk about Cade? They've got some really solid players, and they have an identity. They've bought in, and I think whoever they play in the first round, it's going to be tough. So unequivocally, I would much rather play the Bucks. I fear neither team, and we should win either matchup, no question. But I would much rather play the Bucks. What about you?
I agree with that. I agree with that. And my reason is that I think since we've already owned the Bucks this season, I think that's the more favorable matchup. I think they're in disarray right now. You don't know if Dame's gonna be back. You know, he's dealing with blood clot right now,
Right.
blood clot issue. So if he's not there, it's all on Giannis. Then who's your second punch? Kyle Kuzma. That's gonna be your second scoring punch. I'll gladly take the Bucks as, preference, because I think the Knicks can just handle them. I wouldn't be surprised if they won that matchup in 5, gentlemen sweep them. Pistons, not worried about the Pistons. I don't think I don't think they don't have the requisite playoff experience to really
Right.
give me any fear. Now, if you told me they had 5 years and they play physically, that's a different matchup. But I'm not worried about the Pistons. I look at it as just Cade, and look, these role players are playing well. Malik Beasley's playing well.
Yeah,
Timmy
yeah.
having a decent season. I know you got Isaiah Stewart back there. All of these guys are like really playing well right now. Even Harris has his moments, but as a team, I'm not necessarily worried about them just because they lack that postseason experience. And the Knicks, if you look at this entire starting five, they all have the postseason experience. We know what JB has done between the Mavs and the Knicks. He can just elevate his game any moment in the postseason. Josh Hart has been very consistent. He just dials it up another notch with the intensity and how he's just a two-way player. We definitely know Cat has the postseason experience. He just went to a Western Conference Finals last year. Very key in taking down the Denver Nuggets in that second round as well. Bridges has been in an NBA Finals, even though we can just, talk about how inconsistent he is. He has been in NBA Finals. He has been on a playoff team in Phoenix. So all those guys have been in postseason experience. Even when you get down to Cam Payne, Mitchell Robinson has been there. Deuce has been there. This team is just very well seasoned when it comes to playing in the postseason. So I would take the Knicks over the Pistons as well. So I would take the Bucks first. Pistons. I ain't worried about anybody. We ain't dodging no smoke around here, as I said on the New York Post. But oh shit, pause. Or not pause, but hey, my mic.
You're good. You're good.
My mic just fell. So
No worries. But along with that, listen, I think the first round, it's going to be a huge stepping stone for us. We still got to fine tune some things on our end. So we've got to use that matchup to get right. There's things that we have to fix on our end. Guys are getting healthy and healthy for the most part. I love the way we've somehow kept OG playing a ton of games this year. But there's no question that we've got some things to fix too.
Hey, we do have some things to fix too. All right, we got another call before we wrap up. We got Dan Baljour. You got Dan Baljour on the line. Dan, if you're there, unmute your mic. What's going on?
Fellas, what's going on? I'm coming through well?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, sir. This is your show. What's going on?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Jeff? What's going on, Al? Try to cast it. How you doing?
Doing well, man. Doing well. What do you think about tonight's game?
Man, it was so I was in the building tonight.
Nice.
First and foremost, everything that you guys are hearing about the stadium reports is very true. I mean, it was bleeding orange and blue in there. I mean, it's just everywhere. You just saw us standing up, having a good time in there. So, I don't take too much stake into games like these, especially later on in the season against a team that, you should beat given how our record's been. But, definitely I love the vibes. I think that was the biggest thing. Cam Payne, I know a lot of people, they say a lot about him, but the energy that he brings on the sidelines, if you've ever seen him, even on timeouts or before the game, his energy is very important and is vital to the team. I think we have a lot of even keel individuals, but Cam's energy, his propensity of just getting people and pushing them and getting them really into the game, I think that's important. And this is not, say anything in regards to, his battle with Delon, but I think that's important. But Delon Wright, the way he's able to mesh with these guys, and I think what's lost is just the fact of him being able to really play within the system, and I think that's huge. He fits well with the guys that we have, the ball dominance that we have with Mikal and OG now, and Cat and Delon. The way that he's able to fit with the team and play off those guys, I think that's a skill that he learned in his time, and I think that's very important.
Absolutely very important. That's a great point that you brought up right there. And I think and I think with Delon too, just like the even keel, like you talk about him just gelling, him being even keel, him being, a well-rounded player. I think that's what this team needs, especially with the second unit. And I think it'll just help continue that flow, especially when Deuce gets back and allows Deuce to be what he is, which is just a sniper and a scoring threat off that bench.
No, absolutely. And, I think that Delon, when Brunson and Deuce gets back, being able to play with Brunson, I think that's going to be very important. People aren't going to be used to that lineup, but I think the way he plays is going to give a lot of the ability for Brunson to come off a lot of screens, play off the ball, bring the ball up, really expose defenses and not being able to guard Jalen Brunson coming off and going downhill. I think that's going to be very important. I think Delon just being another playmaker and being a person who's able to hit up open shots. I think that's going to be important with integrating Brunson back in there.
Absolutely, man. Is your name Dan? What's your name, man? Are you from Atlanta? Are you from New York? Where you from, man?
From New York, from Queens, This is Daniel Bose.
Oh, right.
I'm a channel member. I'm around. You guys see me in the chat. I'm usually in there talking with a couple people. I go back and forth with KG a little bit. But, I'm in the chat a little bit. I just try to have a good time. I usually don't call in too many times throughout the season. I let everybody get their takes off. I don't want to jump off the ledge too much, but I really like what I saw from the guys tonight. There
you go, man. Dan, appreciate the call, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Yes, sir, fellas. Great work. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you. And that's a great way to end the show, man. It's a great way. It's a fantastic call. Yo, rate that call in the chat. 1 being trash, 5 being facts. I'm giving him a 5 call, man. I thought that was a very even keel take. I liked everything he had to say, especially about the Delon Wright situation with this team and Cam Payne. I think that's even critical to talk about Cam. Like, I know that we can just look at Cam as like his on-court presence, but very important to be like that locker room guy. We always talked about Theo Pinson, right? And how he just brings that energy. Very important, man. Very important to keep that energy. Keep guys happy, upbeat, just focus. It is a game after all. These guys should be fun. I know it's their jobs, but they should be enjoying themselves. Like, they're playing the game that they love, man. They should be happy while they're out there. So shout out to you, Dan, for calling in. Queens native. That's what I like to hear, man. Appreciate all you for tapping in for another KFTV post game live. The Knicks defeated the Atlanta Hawks 121-105. Get this team out of here, man. These guys are pipsqueaks. I don't want to see this team. This team is such nonsense. I can't stand this team, man. I hate that for a team that beats us, that had just one magical run, that it's like, oh, well, it's Trae Young, the villain to the New York Knicks. Get out of here, man. I don't need to hear none of that. But there is one thing I do need to hear from the people before we get out of here. TM, get ready for this poll question. Have the good people of KFTV forgiven Jeffrey Campbell for the Trae over Brunson comment that he had last season? Have they forgiven him? We need that poll. Yes or no?
I'm going to say no.
He says no. But where do you all stand? You can all comment in the chat as TM is getting that poll ready before we head on out of here. And let us know what you all think. Have you all forgiven
a lot of tomatoes. Could be a lot of tomatoes on that chat.
It's gonna be, hey man, we'll see. And shout out to my guy Andrew Claudio with the update. He said Trae Young is now 7-17 in his career versus the Knicks. That man is no villain. Yeah. That man is nothing but a fly. Just bother you, man. Just swat it out of the way. Get out of here, man. But appreciate you all for tuning in for another KFTV postgame live. As I said, look, if you can't catch us live, you already know what to do. You can join the replay game, come back to the YouTube channel, watch the show over again, tap in as we're rerunning it the next day. You could certainly do that, or you can follow us on any audio listening platform. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitch, you name it, we are there. So make sure to go check us out. Make sure to subscribe to the newsletter if you haven't already done so. Like I said, it keeps you up to date. On the sponsors, shows. There's great articles, like I said. KFTV Jalen, you got KFTV Remy, you got KFTV Jeff right here with me, man. You got Omar, they're all contributing. You got even Chris LeBron, all right? Chris LeBron is contributing as well, giving you his draft insight. Jeff's going to be giving you some draft insight as well. These guys do a phenomenal job over there. So if you want to stay up to date, want written content throughout your day, make sure to go subscribe over there. Also, make sure to support our sponsors. Make sure to support Manscaped. Use that promo code KFTV to get up to 20% off plus free shipping. And don't forget about Skims, all right? CP came here through. We all throw out the flagrant, all right? But make sure to support Skims. When you go over there, make sure to let them know that you found out from us. So when you go to the drop down when you're checking out, select podcast, put in KFTV, let them know that we sent you over there. And look, we appreciate everyone as always for tuning in. All right, I see Respect Shaq. Shout out to Respect Shaq. Shout out to all of our franchise channel members, man, for always tapping in. John Talento, I see you in here. Who we got? We got Thomas Donnery. Shout out to you. We got Daniel back in the chat after just calling in. We got Fabian. Shout out to you for being here. We got Rare Edition. Who else we got in here? We got Son from Brooklyn. Is this well-seasoned gamer? Shout out to you. Had to work that one out. We got DBLU. Shout out to you for being a franchise channel member as well. Mr. Don's in the chat. Shout out to all you guys for being here, man. Shout out to all you for being here. John Talento Jr. Corona with the regulars in here as always. And look, shout out to the Chief Modern Operation. Can't forget about my guy TM, man. He does a phenomenal job. Shout out to Tyler. Shout out to Gamba. Shout out to our producer Daniel. Shout out to CP. Shout out to JD. Shout out to CK2K for doing another play-by-play today, man. The crew just continues to... Crew's just doing their thing, man. We're just building and building and building, and we love what we do over here. Shout out to Jacob.
Premium content.
Yeah, man. Premium content as always. Shout out to Jacob Medor for the $5 super chat. Says KFTV, thanks for the hard work. Shout out to you. And let's see, we got 73% yes for will Tibbs go with Delon Wright over Cam Payne. 73% of 513 voters said yes. 26% said no. All right. And let's see what we got for right now for Jeff. Oof, Jeff, you're not doing too well with us on the closing out. There are 72 votes right now with, and those were just posted 3 minutes ago. 76% say no, while 24% say yes. So some are forgiving you, Jeff. At least some people are forgiving you.
I'll take that. I'll take that.
At least it is not full-on anger towards you right now. And I know that this show is going to continue with this poll going on for a little bit. So appreciate everyone for tapping as always, man. Salute to Knicks Nation. All right, everybody. You already know what to do. We got a second game tomorrow playing the Phoenix Suns, so make sure to tap in over there. I'm not sure. It's either CK2K or JD who's going to be on the play-by-play tomorrow, so make sure to tap in for that. And look, we always got post-game right afterwards, so make sure to tap into that as well. We'll catch you later. We out.